All right, Cat 236D, new project. What do I know? It spent some time at a concrete plant. That's what I'm going to guess. Pretty corrosive. Everything functions well. Evidently, these are foam-filled tires from Caterpillar. I didn't know Cat made their own tires, but I guess they do. Inside, we have something planned for this. We'll see if it works. Went ahead and cleaned it down the other day. It's the only tire that doesn't match. Went ahead and cleaned it down the other day with a hot pressure washer. And got a case of the old milk. So I'm hoping that it's caused from the cap not being completely on, rather than water or antifreeze. So like I said, somehow water or antifreeze is getting into the engine. I'm going to do a flush on everything. Some key alarming things for me. Everything is Cat filters. Cat, and everything has a service date. 6/17/24, that many hours. So it had just gotten service. It has 2,257 hours on it right now, which leads me to think that I think water just got in there as I was cleaning this thing. So I'm going to drain the oil, fill it back up, and see what happens. So what do I know about Cat? So I had a 272D. The thing was nice. It had about 4,000 hours on it. It had some slop in it in general, but it was really nice unit. Cat makes some good stuff. I was looking for a 259D and couldn't find one, and that's why I ended up with the Takeuchi. So these things are made well. I believe this is an actual Caterpillar motor. I forget what they call it, like 7.3 or 3.3 or something, but we'll see. Jack this up, put blocks under it, give me a little bit of access to it. As soon as I find my jack. That's nice. Excuse me. I'll come back to this project. One thing I never realized what I would use in a shop. If you would have told me 4x4 blocks, I'd have called you crazy. Probably use those more than anything else. Give it a good shake test. Good. Harbor Freight Icon lights. These things are fantastic. Huh. I wonder what that is. Box of some sort. The interesting part to all this, that's the fuel tank, I believe. I'll chip some of that out. The interesting part to all this is it comes off. Got something planned you spray on evidently, and makes it a little bit easier to come off. I believe this thing was serviced regularly. All Cat parts, like I said, everything had been documented. These case drains here and here, on my 272C had 4,000 hours on it. I don't think it ever come off, and we're kind of stripped. These look perfectly fine and rounded. You see the bottom of this is all caked up with stuff, and you can actually see that there's no cake around there. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this thing got completely serviced, and that water in here is from my own doing. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself for now. One thing I like to do with all my equipment is, once I service it, actually write down what, that's a big old one, actually what it takes to service it, instead of having to go back and forth. Bet it's going to be 1 inch. Back and forth, back and forth. See if it'll stick to nothing. It does. Got it. Like I said, This should be rather interesting. Oh gosh. Got it. Alright, I'm expecting maybe a little bit of water at first, and then not a whole lot. If it comes out gloopy, I think I'm fucked. Yeah, that's a milkshake for sure. Do have a filter wrench, oil filter wrench, that I will cut it open with and see what's up. There should be 3 gallons in here. I'm gonna guess a little bit more because if you add water, I believe these should have a magnet on them. So it wasn't a whole lot on there. It's pretty interesting that that's dented in. Not sure what that's about. Even the magnet was clean. Okay, it's on that side too. I know this is going to be tainted. I didn't wash this out or dry it out or anything, but I'm going to fill this up. And if I wanted to get an oil sample, I could. Or if not, at least I have it. And it's not tainted with whatever was in that oil drain. I've just never seen something that colored before. To be honest, this is the first thing that I've had milk come out of it. Engine didn't show any sign. No blow by, no signs. It was fine. Now that's pretty interesting, that discoloration like that. Yeah, that discoloration. Never really seen that on dipsticks before. That could be something else. Maybe something else got into the oil. Normally when I look at an engine over, I was looking at that O-ring right there, I look at telltale signs. So if you take the oil, the air box off and it's all clogged up, that probably means the person didn't take care of it. This engine bay, for the way that this thing outside looks, is really clean. It's really clean. There's not a bunch of stuff caked up on the bottom. There's not a bunch of dirt. Blah 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 blah. So we got some faith for this thing. We'll see. Just had this idea. I don't know if it'll work. Shoot a little air. I guess you got to plug it in first. I'm gonna shoot a little air through it. What will that do? I'm not sure. But it's worth a shot. So on a Caterpillar, normally, I would 100% replace anything on a Caterpillar with a Caterpillar part. Same with Takeuchi. You look at any of my equipment, I do OEM filters. It just shows how something had been taken care of, to my belief. Watch this one not fit. Not special. I'm missing one. Huh. Alright, so if you ask me, if this thing did not come out like milk, I'd 100% be replacing this with a Caterpillar part. I don't believe in using Napa filters. Nothing against them, never tested them out. I'm not a scientist, but when I get a piece of equipment and everything has a cat filter, you kind of know who took care of it and who didn't. And Caterpillar. Whoever made the idea to put this filter right here, A+. Oh my gosh. There we go. This is easy. Oh, it's so easy. Now it's leaking and cracked. Nice. Thank you, Cat. Try not to get this all over the battery. So I'll drain this and I have a filter wrench that'll cut that. So we'll get to see what was in it, at least. Not good that it was more milk, that's for sure. I'd be a rich man if I knew where I put stuff. Imagine how much time you would save. Oh, well, spare gloves. Well, that's what I'm looking for. I'm glad it's doing that at least. Now, I didn't get the best oil for this. Cat, I guess, calls for 15W40. I just got regular Napa oil. A Napa filter, like I said, using this as a trial period, so I know it'll come out somewhat milky. Just based off of this, I think you need a good couple of flushes before this all works its way through the system. So if you guys have never seen one of these, it's pretty interesting. Just an oil filter cutting tube. It's like a tube cutter for copper. Does not drain. We'll send it. So you put this on here, spin it out. You know what they say about flat surfaces in a shop, right? Alright, oil filter was a wreck, so we're not going to take that off. I gotta put this plug back on. Still got soup coming out. That's fine. Ooh, the old crush washer. Can't believe that didn't come out. Let's see. Man, this stuff is so caked on there. I am surprised to see the middle belly pan on. Alright. Plugs on, hands cleaned up. Tighten this. Leave that under there just to collect whatever. So, being in Maryland, and having a Cummins. CP Steve Miller. I watch a lot of his videos, and he always gets into arguments with people about pre-filling oil filters and whatnot. I've always done it. If it's not a heinous position, any of these side ones are pretty fucking heinous, but some of the dualies, some of my trucks, have them in normal positions. Well, this one's gonna hurt. 3 gallons. I'm gonna call it wasted, because we'll be putting cat oil down this thing. Should this not come out like a milkshake again. I also thought it was pretty funny. So cat has an oil filter up here, but down by that starter there's also another oil oil cap. So I do believe right here is a pretty weak point for these. My 272, it had the exact same fill neck there, and that had so much crap in the gas tank that I drained it 2-3 times, and would just always have fueling problems. We're gonna get a big funnel here in a second. Golly. Alright, so you guys with equipment, what are you guys changing your oils at? What are you running? In the Caterpillar, like I said, I don't know if it means any different, but I always ran the cat fluid with the cat filters. The Takeuchi, I threw T8 at it, Rotella T8, I believe. Alright, what are you changing your oils at? I used to do lawn care, and I'd shoot between 150 and 250 hours as every time I changed the oil. Get an oil filter and a fresh oil change, and then hydros I would change at about 500-ish hours. That's filter and oil. Not that this is going to tell us anything, because it's not started. Well, it's clean. A little milky. Pretty clean. I have about a quart left to go. But I wanted to see what it'll do before I fully commit to it. It's not on. Put this on. This was also alarming of how full this was. Contact. I know I'll need a new one of these. Alright, figured out what that was. Coolant drain. Case oil coolant drain. I've been running out now for a couple of minutes. There's no temp gauge on these things, which are horrible. Just a fuel gauge. Stupid. Stupid, stupid. Runs fine, sounds fine. Checked the oil initially. Now there is a discoloration in this stick, right? We already noticed that. But when I pull it off, you don't really see any milk. So, what can we conclude? We can conclude that I was a dumbass when we washed this thing and spent too much time up here, therefore water got into it and created a milkshake. So, that was my main concern with this thing, and that's why I kind of rushed on down here after dropping it off yesterday to figure that out. I'm moving off these blocks. Before I do that, I'm going to chip away as much, whatever the hell's under here. So, I'm not going to bore you with that. It's going to be a giant mess here in about 15-20 minutes. Alright, there you have it. I guess next order on the docket, somebody said that you can use commercial grade vinegar or this stuff called jackhammer, and you're supposed to be able to spray it on here and brush this stuff off. So we're going to start in the cab because that's the most important to me, and then venture to the outside of everything. This side looks phenomenal. I wish the whole thing looked like this, but it doesn't. And then that's it. We're going to use it. So number one, clean her up, and we'll go from there. I feel like this tire is low. It's got a valve stem. That one's got a valve stem. Here's the weird freaking thing. This one's got a valve stem. There's not a single valve stem on this tire, so I don't know why this one doesn't have a valve stem. I think this is the only foam-filled tire. How do you... Foam-filled? I don't know. Okie dokie. Next step for this. Called a couple of my friends, and they said that this jackhammer is probably the best for taking off concrete, slurry and mix and stuff like that. So 10-to-1 dilution rate in this stuff right now. Spray it on, let it sit for 10 minutes, they say, and go to town. So let's see if this stuff is any good. I also got, which they also say to get, is industrial vinegar. So this is 30% vinegar. I think there's more potent stuff out there. That was at Home Depot. This was $100. That was $20. So we're gonna try the industrial vinegar on the inside. We're gonna try this stuff on the outside. They say out of a foam cannon. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she's giving the cough factor. So they say spray it on, let it sit for 10 minutes, and power wash it off, give it a scrape. You could you could smell it's working. It's doing its magic. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. Making it up as we go along. Survey says. I mean, this would be the real testament, this spot. Survey says it doesn't work. Survey says that shit's on there. Well, let's try again. Put a little bit more on there. Maybe we'll mix it a little bit stronger. All right, working a little bit. Oh, it's gonna take a while. It's working.